Hello everyone, welcome to Prakash IT. So in this tutorial, we are going to learn Spring Bean scopes as part of Framework. This is the continuation video of Spring Framework. So in this video, we are going to learn about what are the bean scope that is there, and I will demonstrate the bean scope with the example. Okay. So let me explain what do you mean by bean scope. So we are creating the object of the bean. String bean definition that we are creating the bean of means IOC container is creating the object and managing the life cycle of the object, right? So, so through the bean scope, what we are telling to the IOC container is that how to instantiate the object and how to manage the object uh, of the bean definition. Okay, that we are going to tell to the IOC container. So there are various types of bean scopes are there. Basically, I can say five types of bean scopes are there. First one is singleton, which is default scope. By default, whether we are providing or not providing the bean scope, then that scope is going to be default one. That is a singleton scope. Okay. And next one is prototype scope. Okay, I will explain each one with the example. And let me tell you what are the scopes that is there as part of Spring Framework. Okay, and third one is request scope, fourth one is session scope, and fifth one is global session scope, which is deprecated. Okay, as part of Spring 5, that is already deprecated, right? So in this tutorial we are going to learn about singleton and prototype. Though we are working as a part of the core module, so I'm going to explain this two scopes, singleton and prototype. As of now, we have not worked on the um, web applications, right? Whenever we are going to work on the web application, then that time I will explain a request and session scope, right? So for the time being, let me explain singleton and prototype. What is singleton scope? Singleton scope is only one object for the bean definition should be created within the scope of IOC container and should return the same instance whenever requested. That means whenever we are requesting, we are creating, we are calling the get bean method, right? That means what? That means we are creating the object of the bean definition. So how many times you will call that get bean method, the same object is going to be returned. That is the meaning of singleton scope, right? Which is deep scope. And prototype scope. Prototype means whenever we call the get bean method, then that many times the it is going to return different objects, not the same object. I hope you got my point, right? Okay. Then the request scope for this is specific to each HTTP request received. Okay, whenever our application got the one HTTP request, right? Then the Spring IOC container, what it is going to do is it will create a new object for each HTTP request. So that is what is called a request scope. Okay. Then session scope. For each user session, a new object will be created, right? So that request and session scope will study as part of web application, but let me focus on the singleton and prototype scope for this video. Okay, let me tell briefly like what do you mean by singleton scope. Let me tell about singleton scope. Whenever we are creating the object of the bean, then the one object of the bean definition is created, right? Whenever we call the get bean method, then it is going to create only one object, right? So if we call the get bean method multiple times, then same object is going to be returned. There is a caching mechanism that is used as part of Spring IOC. Then that singleton object is going to be stored in the. So whenever you call the second time for the bean to get the object, then it will return the Spring IOC container is going to return the same object. This is the case of singleton. Okay, and how we are going to define so that IOC content is going to create the singleton object, right? That means only one object. If you don't specify also, Spring IOC content is going to create only one object. Why? Because the by default the scope is singleton. Okay, so the way to specify that is bin ID, class name, and scope. We need to specify scope. What is the scope we are going to use? Okay, we need to specify to the IOC container that what is the scope of that. Then accordingly, IOC container will create the object and return the object. Right? Okay. This is in case of singleton. And in case of prototype, whenever we call the getBin method, then it will create first time it will create the object. Right? If for a subsequent time, like for the second time, third time, fourth time, if you are calling that getBin method, then it will the IOC container. If you specify the scope is prototype, then the IOC container is going to create different objects, not the same object, because we are specifying the scope is prototype. Okay, the way we can write is like this: bin ID, class name, scope is prototype. This is the way we can uh, um, tell to the IOC container that we don't need like same object, right? Our application need prototype. Then in that case we can specify that like scope is prototype. Okay, these are the theoretical things. Let me jump into the um, practical things, right? I will explain through the ID. Okay. Okay, so this is our. I have created one application. Right, I have how to create the application. I have already discussed in the previous video. Though I will explain how to work with the singleton and prototype. Okay, so we have. Let me tell. This is the employee class. We have employee ID and employee name. This two property we have for the employee class, and we have this application context. What we are doing here, we have created this constructor injection. We are going to inject. Okay, then here what we are doing, we have this we are injecting these two things like name and ID through constructor injection. Okay, so let me demonstrate this one as first one is singleton. Okay, so what we need to write: scope is equal to singleton. Okay, scope is singleton. Okay, then this is the bin scope. This is the bin scope where it written. Let me copy this. What we are doing, we are calling the getBin method. GetBin method to get the to obtain the employee object, right? Okay, so this is the first time we are calling, so it will create the employee object, right? So if we call for the second time, then let me rename this one is as emp1. Okay, this is the emp1. Okay, so what you are thinking, like this is the same object or different object? How we can get to know? Okay, let me write the sysout emp dot. Okay, if both the object is same, then hash code is going to be same, right? Okay, means the same. um, uh, if the object is same, then they are both the reference variable going to refer to the same object, right? That means that we can get to know that by hash code, right? emp1 dot hash code. If you are comparing the employee, the first object hash code and second object hash code, if it is same means if you compare that by equal to double equal to, then what we are going to get? If you are going to get the true, then it is referring to the same object, is not it? Okay, let me run that. Okay, okay, so we got the same object and the reference variable is same. Okay, reference variable is same, that is it is returning true. Okay, you understood that. Okay, let me run that. Let me write the scope is prototype. Okay, that means what? If we specify the scope is prototype, that means we are telling to the ISA container, a container, give me the object. Whenever I am requesting for the object by getBean method, then give me the new object, not the old object what you have created previously. Okay, then if the code is same, if you are comparing, then in this case, in the previous case we got the true, as the hash code, both the object hash code is same, it is referring to the same object. I have changed that scope to prototype. Then that means what? If I call the hash code method and comparing with the this one, the employee one hash code, then it should give false. It should give false. Though as both are different object, not the same object, right? Okay, let me read on it. Okay, what you got? False. False means what? Both the object are not same object. Both are different object. That is why we are getting the output as false. We are getting different as code. That means the both the object are different. Okay, clear? I hope singleton and prototype scope that is clear to everybody, right? Okay, that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll come with I will come up with a new topic, right? So till then, practice all these things, then we'll come with the new video. Okay, fine. Thank you.